Guys, so today we're going to be going over determining amplitude and period of periodic functions from just a given equation. So first off, we need to define what amplitude is. Amplitude is half the distance between the minimum and maximum values of any given periodic function from its middle position, right? So how far up or how far down does the function sway? So in order to determine amplitude with just the equation, you have to find the absolute value of the number multiplying the sine or cosine. And that is it. It's very simple. So you have this number right here, 3. The absolute value of 3 is 3, which means your amplitude is equal to 3, which is equal to amplitude. Right? Why does the negative, or why do we do absolute value? Right? We do absolute value because the negative or the positive just become irrelevant, right? Because the number, right, or the amount that it goes up is going to be the same as the amount it goes down, right? If you're making sure that you do it from the middle position. Now, to finding the period. First off, we have to define the period. So the period is the length of the smallest interval that contains exactly one copy of the repeating pattern of the periodic functions. Right? So first off, let's talk about how you can recognize that there is a pattern in the periodic function, right? If you just look at it, it's very easy to see. You see it goes up and down, up. So it is the length between the cycles, right? So if you have a point here and you go up, down, well, why wouldn't it be right here, right? It wouldn't be right here because you haven't completed the cycle yet, right? Because one full cycle, you have to go up and back, right? So this is the completed cycle. And the length right here is your period. If you were to take a different point on the graph, for instance, down here, and you went up and down and finished that cycle, it's the same length. This length right here is going to be the same length as this length. How do we find that, right? How do we find this length with just the given equation? Well, we take 2 pi over the absolute value of the coefficient, right? The coefficient in our equation is 2. So what we do is we go, let me change the color here. We go 2 pi over the absolute value of 2, which is just 2. So 2 pi over 2, which actually cancels out like that. So you just get pi, right? That's it. Your period is equal to 1 pi. Period. I'm just going to do PE for short. Why do we have to do 2 pi over the absolute value of the coefficient? Well, if you look at the unit circle, it starts at, here, let me draw the unit circle. Think about the unit circle, right? That is a very bad graph, but say this is the graph and this is your unit circle. If you started at any point, right, it would take exactly 2 pi to get back to that point. So whether you go in this direction or this direction, and the fact that you can go in either direction and come back to the same point is why you take the absolute value under 2 pi. And thank you guys for watching. That is how you find amplitude, and period of periodic functions.